Hey, Mr. Wagner here, at Starbucks somewhere, and I'm here to do a video on how to write the essay because some people, it sounds like they're starting to have concerns with the essay. So I'm going to try to show the screen to you. It's going to look like very weird, but I'm doing that on purpose. It looks like super crazy, but then I can show you what I'm trying to do. So we have talked about the essay several times. You could probably use notes on the colonies presentations that you've taken, something that looks something like this. You might have taken it off some of these slideshows. You also have Enlightenment thinkers homework. It looks like this, and then at the end there are these questions like so. Eventually I'll get there. And you can use at least one of them in your paragraphs. I would use it in the paragraph about political ideals. Other item that we have in Drive would be either share to you or you took it as notes, or I gave you an extra copy, and it looks like colonies. Of course I don't have that one up. Well, I keep looking for it. I'll probably glitch out the whole computer. So we'll just go back to what's going on with the essay. We did a sample intro together, and students were starting to get very concerned. I'm going to go to the top of this screen. This is a file that's either been shared to all students or they took notes on. And the idea, the essay is what political and social ideals developed in the colonies and philosophy that created the American identity. So the idea is there's two different ways to write it. Students that took notes off of the slideshow might like the idea, all the slideshows, I should say, because you saw at least one slideshow in the middle, New England and Southern colonies. They might like the 5-paragraph idea. So I did a sample introduction together, and students can actually steal this introduction and then change a couple words around for their essay. So sample introduction we did, now it's too large, of course. Undo. So, sample introduction. The American identity is uniquely shaped on freedom and democracy. That's my attention grabber, like, whoa, serious statement. You know? Then so the political and social ideals that developed in the colonies and in philosophy created the American identity. I'm basically saying my thesis. In New England, those ideals were sculpted by the Puritan way, an economy based on shipping. That's basically a summary of what I'm going to be talking about with New England. That'll be my paragraph 2. In paragraph 3, I'm going to talk about middle colonies. The ideals were sculpted by Quaker-led religious tolerance and a diverse economy. And in paragraph 4, I'm going to talk about southern colonies founded on Anglican-led religious tolerance and the plantation economy. Finally, how it's going to happen in this essay, in my last sentence, I say, a contrast of the 3 types of colonies will show the formation of the American identity. So you can either put your thesis in the first 2 sentences at the top, like I did. I put it in sentence 2. That's what you're going to do in the paper. Or you can put it at the very end of the paragraph. I know different teachers have said different things in the past. So that was option 1. Option 2, usually students really buy into option 2 because they're like, ooh, less writing sounds good. Option 2 is if you do 4 paragraphs, and like so. I said we talked about it. Hello, go up one. Grab the reader's attention, say the thesis in a different way, define the main terms that will be body paragraphs, and explain how things will simmer or cook. This one has the same first sentence. The American identity is uniquely shaped on freedom and democracy. The political and social ideals that developed in the colonies and in philosophy created the American identity. That's the first two sentences, the same. But then this only says political ideals include belief in individual rights, representative government, separation of power, and written documents. So you have to mention some of them. And students, I said, you might only do two of them. Cut them out when you make it your introduction. That'll be your paragraph 2, talking about political ideals right here. This is your paragraph 2. Boom. Your paragraph 3 will be about social ideals if you choose this method. Include stance on slavery, economic system, ethnic diversity, and religious tolerance. A discussion of these ideals, of course, to end it, will show roots during the colonial era of what goes on today and highlight some of the evidence of continuity in that today. For example, the economic system today is capitalist system. It started where the rich were trying to get richer in the colonies, and basically, that the plantation system in the South was to make maximized profit. Shipping companies developing became very rich in New England. In general, there wasn't any space in England left, so everybody was either the royal family, the king, the court, or very poor. So people came to the colonies from England, for example, for the economic opportunity as well. And you had a chance at that in New England and Middle, not so much in the South, because they were giant farms and slave labor. But obviously, you would talk about how today we have a capitalist system, and technically anybody can start a business and make it big, or you can go to get higher education or apprenticeship to become some sort of job. So we still have a capitalist system. It was called a little bit different than the capitalist system, but it's an idea of doing something and then making a profit off of it. If you talked about your religious tolerance there, today you can be any religion, you can be no religion, you can be Jedi if you wanted to. That's technically a religion, and most of the colonies except for Massachusetts Bay were all about religious tolerance, which was not the case coming from England, for example. There wasn't much religious tolerance there, so that's why they came over in several groups. And then, except for Massachusetts Bay, where the Puritans were very bossy, there was religious tolerance throughout the colonies. So, you probably have notes. You have the homework on Enlightenment thinkers, and there are a couple other files, including notes we took that were fill in the blank about the types of colonies. As long as you paid attention during slideshows by your peers, you don't really need those notes anymore. But if you don't know if you trust those notes, you can always use the notes I gave in class. You can always look back in the textbook as well. And if you're starting to get a little anxious, feel free to ask to come in at recess, and we can plan out those body paragraphs. Writing is a process. Students are allowed to hand in this essay as many times as they want. Students will either be doing 4 paragraphs if they're doing the model that's right here, where your body paragraphs are political ideals and social ideals. If you're doing a 5-paragraph essay, it is intro, New England paragraph, middle paragraph, and southern paragraph, and then conclusion. That's 5 paragraphs. So that's different. But either way, I think you'll do well. And if you aren't happy with it, or technically I'm not happy with it, you will have the chance to fix it as many times as you want to. All right, good luck on your writing, and make sure that you have it done by September 30th at midnight, which is Sunday night.